Yeah, how's everybody doing? Turn that down. Nailed it. Let's have a look. What we got here? Shout out if you're here in chat. So, see who's here. Dave, how you doing? Blad, how you doing? Let me just sort this chat window out. Yeah, hope everybody's morning or afternoon is off to a good start. Evening, even. Let's get this. I was gonna do it on YouTube tonight, but it just didn't get around to it. Didn't get around to looking at it, so I'll have to do that. Do that another time. But yeah, everybody's good. Can't believe Dave beat you, Vlad. That's crazy. Jesus Christ, what you lot like? Jamie, how you doing, mate? How you doing? Steve, how you doing, buddy? Are we talking about the Roman Empire? Well, no, we're not talking about the Roman Empire. We'll be talking about a few bits. Yeah. If anybody's new in here, shout out. It'd be good to hear from you. You have got time to make a cup of tea, Steve. Yeah, you're good. Dave says, doing great. Just finished a month's editing 4,000 images. What? 4,000 images, Dave? There's no way. What? How? That's nuts. That's nuts. Hey, Rafaela, how you doing? Glad you could make it. Hey, Chris, how you doing, man? How you doing? James, glad you could make it, mate. Yeah, 7,000. I'll tell you what was funny. I was sat watching, I just had something on in the background of YouTube, it just feeds you, pithy recommendations one after another was on in the background. There was like some guy in his studio, and he was talking about just had a great shoot, just finished up. Really good. Just had a few hours, so many great images, took 3,000 shots, and I was like, 3,000 images? A studio session, just like a colorama thing. And yeah, I mean, she changed clothes and stuff, but 3,000 images, I was like, that is nuts. That's so many. And he's like, oh yeah, editing them, just so many good ones. Probably get it down to the best 300. I was just like, what on earth? That is crazy numbers. That's just like, is it just me, or like, are you guys shooting like, do like a few hours doing like 3,000 shots? I mean, that's some Sony numbers right there, right? I mean, that's crazy. So Dave, like 7,000 images, is that you just shooting 4K footage and you would just pull in frames? Like, yeah, that's nuts. So Dave says poll showcases with a lot of burst shooting, multi-group poll shoots, multi-brand gig shoot. Interesting. Okay. I could see that if you're like, just if she's doing whatever she's doing, spinning around and that sort of stuff, and you're just, just firing off her. I could see you getting some decent numbers there, but like just a regular fashion shoot, air quotes. I mean, I think in all, like, I don't think it was a fact. I think it's like a model test shoot. Like the agency sends out models for tests and that sort of stuff. I think that's what it was. So she's just there in like bra and knickers and like a oversized suit jacket. The classic cowboy boots. Really thinking out of the box. But yes, I don't think it was anything crazy. But like, yeah, it's a lot of images. It's a lot of images. Alan, how you doing, man? Well, it's good to be here. It's been a long time, but I've been keeping up on social media. I know, Alan, it has been a long time. Yeah, I know you've been about what you were in France for a bit, and I think you're back. Well, you're back in Scotland now. Platter, saw a guy on Instagram culling wedding shots with an Xbox controller on a huge TV. Is that how you deal with 7,000 shots? What? So a guy on IG culling wedding shots with an Xbox controller on a huge TV. Man, I'm. That's it. I'm obviously out of the loop. You guys are all over the new ways to edit. I need to step up my game, obviously. Yeah. A poll showcases 20 to 30 poll performers with a set of poses and dance, is what Dave says, in quick succession. So bursts needed to get the perfect pose. Dave, I can. Do you know what? I can totally see that. Yeah, if you're doing dance or poll where, you just don't want to risk missing it when they're doing one pose that because like no matter how good they are, they can't stay up there forever, right? You've got to come down and that sort of thing. So yeah, I mean, I get it if you're shooting, but that is a lot. 7,000 over what time span, Dave? Were you shooting 7,000 images? Like 6-7 weeks? Like what? Rafaela says, doing great, thank you. Planning a color gel shoot on Sunday to test my new magnetic reflectors. Okay. Let's have a look at what we got here then. Let's see what we got. So Rafaela, Jimbei again. There we go, Jimbei's. So magnetic reflectors. So I'm guessing the magnetic. Yeah, there we go. That's this little fella here. It just squashes them in there. Okay. Rafaela, please tell me you've got other gels to use on that. These are not nice looking gels like that. They are some muddy colors. Yeah. Obviously, there's plenty of gels out there, but there's gels on my website as well. I know that they won't get to you by Sunday, but yeah, I'm hoping you've got, because these are not nice colors. Yeah. But clever idea. Yeah, like the magnet and that sort of stuff makes sense. I prefer if it wasn't hinged, just so you could have just a gel in the middle, right? Especially if you've got like a large sheet, you can't put it all the way in, so it's just gonna fall out and that sort of thing. But yeah, I mean, for 20 quid for the dish, job's a good one. Guys says, yeah, still up in the Highlands, but home in November. So home as in back down, like where's home these days? Back down south, right? Yeah. These billionaires in the yeah, I know, right? Wasn't that the guy? I mean, apparently you can go visit the Titanic in a miniature submarine with your Xbox controller and edit all your shoots, all your wedding shoots. I mean, apparently Xbox controller is all you need. Yeah. Hey Annie, how you doing? That's to see, you probably had some hotkey bin to that controller, but I can see it working on a ton of images. Really, Vlad? If you get the if you see that link, send it over. That sounds bizarre. Surely it's a meme, right? It's just like these TikTok kids doing the stuff for the clouts. Yeah. Dave says, afternoon, currently editing my third Halloween shoot. What was Halloween shoots? Nice. Love it. Glad you guys are getting those Halloween shoots out there. I forgot. Yeah, it's coming up. Is it a couple of weeks away, I suppose? Yeah, it's been busy. Danny, how you doing, Danny? Currently shooting 3-day corporate conference, but I'm sneaking a peek. No worries, Danny. Yeah, that's good, man. Yeah, glad to see you being busy. Corporate conferences. Whew, yeah. Riveting stuff, but yeah, pays the bills, right? You got to get it done, and the free food's usually good. You got to take the wins where you can, It's usually a good evening as well. Dave said 3 weeks. This is for his pole shoots. 3 weeks weekends have been full lately as I grow the name in the pole community. Nice, man. I mean, love it. Getting yourself out there, and especially doubling down on a certain demographic and that sort of thing can certainly help loads at the start to get the name out there fast enough. Rafaela says, "Oh yes, those gels are awful. I got yours." Oh, I was going to say, Rafaela, those images you would not be happy with the colors from those images. And that's that. Like, whilst we're on that topic, this was like one of the main reasons why I made my gel packs all those years ago, was because like the gel packs that were being sold were like straight out of the 80s. They were horrendous colors, and I was working with very closely with Bowens at the time, and like the gel packs that they were putting out was just like, guys, we can't be doing that. These colors are awful. So that was really one of the main incentives for me to actually put the gel packs out there, or my gel packs, because originally it was just like packs wasn't the thing. It was just you buy a roll and that's it. Olivia, you made it. How you doing, Olivia? Good to see you. Derby, that's right, Alan. Yeah, Derby, that's right. Yeah. Dave says, happy to be at the point I'm booking double group shoots a day for pole, and got private bookings coming in regularly now. So at the point I'm looking at going full-time tog within 12 months or sooner. Mate, congrats. Yeah, keep at it, buddy. That's fantastic news. Yeah, fantastic news. And out there grinding, respect it. Yeah. That's great, man. That's awesome. Yeah, really good. I mean, that's some serious numbers. Do you know, have you got an idea, do you think, of how many pole shoots you'd need to do a month / year, something like that? Do you have like a goal like that, or is it just a case of, when we get to 12 months time, let's readdress how much I charge, and obviously like the charge versus the number of bookings that you do will be key, right? Because there's people out there doing 60 weddings a year, 80 weddings a year, but they're doing them for like 300-500 quid a pop, as opposed to people doing 10 weddings a year for 5 to 10 grand a pop. Big difference, right? Plus, I'll put the effort into recreating the Xbox thing if anyone is willing to bet dollars that I can't. I am still confused as to why that would be a thing. Like, what? Like, it's just no way that's easier than just a mouse and keyboard. Like, what are we doing here? Like, we just content for content's sake? It's weird. Yeah, I don't get it. But yeah. Anyway, welcome to everybody here. If you're new, shout out. We think we've got a couple of new faces in here, or people that I'm familiar with, but just never quite caught the live. So it's great you guys are here. What we're doing is every couple of weeks do a live stream. It usually starts off with us just catching up on recent photo announcements, gear wise, that sort of stuff. Then we'll talk about a topic. This week's topic is going to be working in smaller studios, thanks to Steve, who recommended that as an idea for something to chat about, so we could get into that. And then afterwards, what we'll do is we'll go through your images, right? So every Monday, I put out a post to share a shoot, and in that post, I just get you guys to pop your images in there. So, boom. It's last night's shoot here, share a shoot, right? Just find this, scroll back to last night's post, and just pop your images in the chat. And here we got a bunch of new images in here from new people as well as regulars. Beautiful, yeah. Got some good stuff in here. Yeah, Vlad, Tony, good to see Danny's in there as well. Nice, cool. Okay. So yeah, just scroll back, find this image, pop your image in the comments. Go through it, have a look. If there's any feedback that we think is appropriate, then I will offer it as well. But yeah, that's what's gonna happen. So yeah, one of the topics tonight, like I said, working in small spaces. Last Friday, I put out this image. Just asked, can you just send you guys that? I've been super busy, haven't got a topic lined up for next week's stream. If anybody's got any ideas, then let me know. We had some suggestions in here. Vlad's as well, talking about color density, which I haven't got into yet, but does sound pretty interesting, so I want to have a look at that at some point. And then Steve mentioned mention this. He says, I've always been interested in what photographers do for a studio, having the luxury of a dedicated space at home versus hiring a studio for a few hours versus renting a semi-permanent studio space versus owning a studio space. At which point would someone take the plunge? I see all these YouTube photographers in their own studio and wonder if they own or rent and how much work they must get to afford and justify such a place. So I think it's a great topic, and we'll get into it in a bit, but thanks for Steve for putting it out there. But I think it's something that everybody goes through at some point, right? I mean, Dave's going through the process. I mean, he's going to other studios to shoot these pole dancers and that sort of stuff. So maybe he doesn't need his own space right now, but maybe at some point in the future. So we'll dig into that in a bit. We'll just get through the news and then we can have a look at that. But yeah, word on Steve for suggesting that. It's a good topic. Kitty from Oz, how you doing? What time is it with you, Kitty? So you up super early in the morning? That's crazy. But yeah, appreciate you tuning in. Dave says one school group of 20 pole performers a month would currently cover my bills. Okay, so one pole school group of 20 pole performers a month. Okay. That's good, man. That's good. Mixing in private pole shoots and empowerment shoots would be put back into business, hopefully putting a profit within 6 months, going full-time photographer. Okay, that's good numbers then. That is good numbers, because that's not unreasonable at all. That's totally achievable, which is good. I'm sure you're making money from these guys, but also it seems like you're in a situation where you don't have huge amounts of money going out each month, so like you can make it work early on, without having to work 3 jobs and that sort of stuff. So that's good, man. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, and sounds like you got a bit of a plan in mind there. You got the numbers there. Like I said, achievable. 6 months plan as well. That'd be good, man. That'd be good. Yeah. Looking forward to following that. See how it goes. Still lots to learn on the admin side, etc. But the work is building up and starting to make it a viable option. Yeah, I mean, the admin stuff is. Yeah, I mean, it's like you just make it as complicated as you want to, right? If it's just you, it's actually not that bad. If you've got multiple people working, then it just instantly becomes a mess. Really, the Xbox controller can't be any different to a shortcut device like a loop deck, right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, you could just do it with the loop deck, yeah, or Stream Deck, right? Which is what I need, but didn't get. Oh, I should have looked actually on, because isn't Amazon doing some deals or something like Prime Day or something like that? Or Steve, yeah, thanks for the idea. I got more info on that idea, but still can't find a way to do it in Lightroom. But got more film emulation masks. So Vlad's talking about color density that he mentioned last week, which we'll hopefully get into at some point. Hey, night eyes, like it. Even though village halls, community centres make for great studio space, but do you need your own equipment? Yeah, that's good. Yeah. We'll get into that topic in a bit, night. But yeah, I think geography makes a huge difference as well. I do a lot of online mentoring and workshops with Americans, and it's very different to space-wise over there compared to like here in Europe, right? Which is, we're scrabbling over space a little bit more. It seems very popular in the US to be like sharing spaces, so like large, like you guys seem to have, I don't know what you call, like warehouses or whatever it is, like large areas, like the industrial areas of your towns and that sort of stuff, where there'll be like a bunch of guys from, like, maybe they're in a camera club or you've found each other online and that sort of stuff, and they'll be like, look, do you want to timeshare a space, right? And it's not that expensive at all, so they just leave all the kit there. I guess it's up to you and trust wise as to how much you want to do with these these guys, but yeah, like sharing a space with people in your area seems to be, in my experience with the people that I've spoken to, seems to be a pretty popular option in the US. Yeah. Dave says a lot of my pole shoots are location shoots, woodland, graffiti tunnels, legs, etc. Totally different to what has been offered to these guys so far. Gotcha. Okay, same shoots on a blank background with a bit of smoke thrown in now and then. Yeah, that's fair, Dave. Yeah, that's true. And that is, when you say pole shoots, that is definitely what I think of when you say that. Yeah. So if you're going out and making a bit of a day of it, then Yeah, I could see that being viable for sure. Yeah, yeah. That's talking about color density again. It's basically what you explained a few streams ago about additive versus subtractive color, but in terms of saturation. Yeah, I mean that whole topic, Vlad, is fascinating to me. Like dominant, recessive, all that sort of stuff in terms of colors is fascinating to me. Especially when you can kind of play around with that dominant, recessive colors and that sort of stuff, and then you turn that image black and white, and it almost looks completely like an even tone. So I do find it interesting how powerful color is to us in terms of our eyes, and it's not just about brightness, which is what we're used to thinking in terms of key light, fill light. Fill light is one stop, two stops darker. That's not necessarily always the case with color, right? You can create the same density image, but the top key light be more dominant. So I do find that whole topic pretty fascinating. Yeah. 5 a.m. Kitty, have you gone to bed or have you just gotten up? What an absolute hero. There's a new studios opened up in Newcastle, which is brilliant. Double Infinity Cove, large enough to get a wedding limo in with all the lighting you could ever want. A race reasonable too. That's awesome, Dave. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Is it? Yeah. I mean, if you don't mind sharing the link to it, yeah, I'd be interested to. I mean, I'm never up that way, but maybe there's other people up there. I know a lot of studios took a hit after lockdown, right? A lot of studios closed down. So if you want to share the love, or any new studios opening up, trying to get a foot in the door, then yeah, by all means share it. Okay, so let's have a look. Caviar, what did I miss? Who's got caviar? What do we? Right. Oh, Caviar Studios. I was like, man, I'm out of touch already. So let's go over a couple of bits. Most importantly, a couple of days I will be demoing at the Rotolight press event. So they're doing a launch of the brand new product, the Innova Pro 3, this absolute beast of a light here, and that will be in London. And this is a press event. I think we're doing press event for the first couple of hours, and then trying to think of a polite word. Regular people will be invited afterwards, right? But I don't know whether they've changed it. It looks like everybody's coming at the same time now. It's going to be a gaggle, but anyway, yeah, it is. They are giving away free tickets to this. Come in. I'll be doing some demos. You guys will be able to shoot as well. So yeah, I'll be doing some demos using their lights. We got, I think we got at least 2 models on the day, so they'll be there all day. Obviously, once I set everything up and talk through what I'm doing, you guys can shoot that as well. Come down, have some food and drinks, that sort of stuff, hang out. But yeah, if you're interested, then check that out. Again, that will be this Thursday, 12th. Is that really? Can I not trim that down? Yeah. So. Cool. Yeah. So that will be. That is in Hoxton. Yeah. So Big Sky Studios, beautiful studio in the Arches there in Hoxton. But yeah, if you're interested, you can come along on Thursday. It's free. Really great to see you. Come check it out. Hey Robin, how you doing, mate? So Steve says, oh, thanks for Dave. Yeah, Caviar Studios. All right, nice. Yeah. Ooh, yeah, there's a big space. Yeah. Oh, they got, okay, yeah. So, yeah, they got rigging up there for video and stuff as well. Music videos and that sort of stuff would be ideal, yeah. Oh, nice big space, yeah. Beautiful. Okay. there you go, guys. If you're up north, you know, check out Caviar Studios there in Newcastle. Yeah. Nice. Okay. Thanks for that, Dave. Appreciate it. Steve says, don't worry, Jake. I'm going to try and have some Creative England Arts Council funding. We'll have you up here for a few beers at the new studio. Yeah, mate, that'd be good. Yeah. Obviously, I need an armed escort up north, but other than that, you know, I don't need anything special, you know. Right, let's get into a couple of bits that were announced, spoken about, and this is back in the press again. So, Vlad, you might have more info on this, but this has been around for years and years and years. In fact, originally this something like this came out years ago as an April Fool, right? So somebody put out, I think it was a German design agency, I vaguely remember something like that, and they put out this press release, April Fool, and it was basically a 35mm cartridge that had this flap, which was supposedly a, you know, CCD or whatever it is, and it would go, so you'd slot your 35mm film in, this CCD flap would go over the film plane, and you could shoot digital images using any 35mm film camera. Now, at the time, if I remember rightly, this April Fool went nuts. Like, photographers lost their mind, right? And like they had to like go, oh my god, no, it's just April Fool, just joking. Like, photographers went mad for it. And then I think a lot of like other companies since then kind of cottoned on to like the desire for it, right? And they were like, there seems to be a lot of desire for this. So there's been a couple of iterations of this sort of thing. Usually every couple of months one will emerge on Kickstarter, and it doesn't quite make it, or it seems a bit sus and that sort of stuff, but in principle it is possible. So this is the latest one. It's called I'm Back, and I mean it's sadly like the biggest issue for me is that it's tiny. Right, like this is full frame 35mm, and then you have, so it's micro 4/3, which is like it's not even worth considering really. But you know, just putting it out there that these things are still struggling in the background. One day, I live in hope. One day that these will exist, because it would be very, very cool to have it. No, it's just, you know, be yourself here, Jamie. No need to hold back, mate. It's absolutely fine. Wayne, how you doing, mate? So Vlad says, got no info, but every time I see one of those, I want one. Right, Vlad, exactly. Yeah, every time I'm like, oh, is this the one? Is this the one? All I know is this one is micro 4/3 and not interested in anything. Exactly. 100% agree with you there, mate. 100% agree. But yeah. Also, all of them are on Kickstarter. I want to see one as an actual product. This is, I mean, and I've followed a few over the years on Kickstarter. There was one I think I wrote about it last year or earlier this year about a Kickstarter with one of these things, and that looked very, very promising. Like I'm sure that was full frame. But yeah, we live in hope, because I think that like the person who manages to make this a reality, I think there's bags of money to be made. Obviously, there's something that we're missing that is making this infinitely difficult for them. Because in theory, like this is all you need. This, and then it just needs to slot in the back. In theory, right? Now I know there's a few 35mm cameras that, you know, as long as the back opens, in theory it should be doable, right? That is a legit thing. They should start with a medium format one or something big. That would be cool. Yeah, that would be cool. Do you think that would be easier? More space? Because I mean, that's the thing here. I'm thinking, like, is the reason that they couldn't do full frame is space? Like they just couldn't fit the tech that they needed to in this slip here that they've got. Yeah, I mean, medium format one would be cool, but I don't think the same market would be. Everybody's got a 35mm camera kicking about, right? I think there would be. I don't know. Maybe I'm impossible to believe, but maybe I'm out of touch. But I think these would sell like hotcakes personally. But nearly there. Yeah. Needs less miniaturization, but also needs a huge sensor. So we all know how much this costs. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, maybe it is the fact that they can't get it in that like sandwich slot, because obviously film is like paper thin, right? So I guess they're just having the difficulty getting it thin enough for the flap to close and that sort of thing. But yeah, we'll see. This, everybody was talking about this online all over the place. I'm kind of sus on this, but this is from Liquid FX Filter from Prism Lens FX. I have a couple of Prism Lens FX filters. It was recommended by, I think, Simon on one of these streams in the past, and yeah, Prism Lens FX do some nice bits. Can be a little bit quirky, but that's cool. There's definitely room for that. This liquid thing here, I'm kind of sus on that, if I'm honest. I mean, like John at DIY Photography here says, how do the images look? Well, there's no answer to that one yet. Prism Lens Effects said in a comment on Instagram post, the samples would be coming soon. And he goes on to say, but if the company's been working on this for a year, surely they'd have something to show it off by now if they wanted to. Which I 100% agree. So I don't know how this is going to work. I could see this being something for video, it moving, but yeah, I'm not convinced. Yeah. Like John says here, I think the idea is cool, although I expect the results probably aren't the best looking. So we'll see. Keep an eye on it, and I'm kind of sus. Yeah. Polaroid did a bit of a big push recently with this color I-type film. Now this is not basically the film is in these circles and that sort of stuff, but like some of the videos and stuff that they put out and some of the marketing stuff that they put out for this is actually really cool. Again, it's probably a little bit of a niche market to a certain extent, but I think it was Wayne Kahn. I think it was you that maybe it was you who sent this to me. I know I definitely saw it. And several places, but yeah, they've got some marketing videos out there on it, and it's really cool. Yeah, it's really cool. Do you have any of this, Wayne? Do you have any of this film, or is this brand new? Is this circle film? Is it not even out yet? But yeah, these limited special edition frames are a genuine tribute to Polaroid's rich heritage, allowing photography enthusiasts to own a piece of our history. It's a fusion of science and design that embodies commitment and yada yada yada. Okay, Polaroid I-type, next edition film packs available to buy now, visually. 2-pack, 3-pack options. So in 2-pack and 3-pack options. So 2-pack is what? $34? Oh, individually it's 34. Ooh, what do you get? 10 in there. And 2 packs is $70. You get 10 in a shot. Oh, available in packs of 16. Okay. Okay. Still not cheap, but it's cool. Yeah, if you see any of these adverts and stuff of their videos, there's plenty of reels and stuff and adverts now. Just check them out. Like the design and concept and coloring that they've done for them is actually really, really cool. Yeah, it's really cool. So I just wanted to mention that. I don't think I'm gonna get these films, but just the new marketing push that they've gone for is actually really cool. Yeah. Oh, you bought some? Wait, nice. Okay, it's on order. All right, yeah. Oh, well, keep me updated on how it goes. Yeah, I'd be interested on the quality of them. So this just goes in because you've got a Polaroid SSX or something like that. Is that like the leather one? Is that right? Is that like the pop-up one? Is that what you're using it in? Is that what this goes in, or is it the 600? The 600 is the slightly wider one or newer one. Yeah. But yeah, this sort of stuff was actually it's actually really well done. Yeah, and the way that they do it in this animation of him going like this color going through and next to other colors and how that changes, I think it's really, really subtle but really nicely done. Yeah. which is cool because I haven't really seen anything from them in forever. So yeah, it's nice. I-type film. Okay. Yeah, I'm acting like I know what that is. Is that I only know the 600s and the the slightly older one for the SSX, I think. Yeah. Reminds me of the old Sesame Street cartoon, right? That's what I mean. Like when I saw it, I think they've done a really good job of actually of that old school vibe. I thought they did a really good job with it. Yeah. I think I missed that up there. Prism lens effects IG is down. I couldn't find it. Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, they usually got stuff on it, but I know they were pushing it. But so this kind of caught my eye. Nothing crazy, but it is worth keeping a weather eye on what Godox are doing with these new lights. So they've kind of been doing this for the last couple of years. These Godox single unit like massive black boxes. Like we had them on the Pixar Pro stage last year at the photo show and that sort of thing. But the smaller ones, I think they were the 1200. Yeah, the 1200 watt one. So this is a 2400 bicolor, right? So that just means like a Kelvin range and that sort of thing. But 2400, like that is very bright to be, because it doesn't show it here, but like it's just going to be the little fella in there, right? I don't know whether it's in the video here. Do they take the front off? So obviously it's got its own Fresnel and stuff there. So so this is S-Fit, right? And then this is the new Godox. Was it G-mount or something? I forget what it's called now, but it's got its own special mount on there. G-mount, yeah, G modifier. So Godox are basically releasing this whole new line of lights with this G-mount, and they're not doing it because they're like, oh well, you know, we're sick of using the old S-Fit. It's really because of the size of the lights that they're producing. There's basically they've said that there's no way to make any S-Fit modifiers fit this, because you can see it's big, right? Like S-Fit is like this, and this is like twice the size of it. It's massive out there. So they're making these really just monstrous lights, just doing putting out huge amounts of power, and they're making like a whole line of specific modifiers for it. It's bold, right? But I mean, all these companies start somewhere with this. But I do think, I mean, Godox has got a huge amount of momentum now, and they're just gobbling up all these different aspects of the market. It's kind of interesting that, I mean, for the last few streams, we've been doing just like casual catch up on like gear news and that sort of stuff over the last couple of weeks. Now, I haven't purposely been skipping flash lighting and not showing you that. There really just hasn't been any flash announcements. It's all been LED announcement after LED announcement after LED announcement. Like the momentum that LED has now is huge. Now, I mean, I've pretty much gone all the way over to LED now. As you guys know, Master of Light for rotor lights. I'm using their panels, mostly the EOS 2 Pros, and I also have a Godox S-mount one, which is what the SZ 150R. So I'm using the 150, and this is a 2400. Yeah, like Dave says, when you really want the melted makeup look on the model. Yeah, this is obviously for film and that sort of stuff, but it's interesting to me the sort of power that they're able to put in this kind of size, right? Because this was inconceivable not too long ago to have LEDs of that kind of power in that sort of space. So, like, really, like, the biggest thing for photographers, like most of us here, coming from flash to LED, and I put myself in that group when I say this, but my biggest concern is power, obviously, right? It's always going to be the power, like, it's cool, LEDs are cool, and it's convenient, and yada yada yada, and lightweight, and, you know, battery powered, and, you know, millions of colors, you know, it's cool, but it doesn't, you know, it doesn't quite have the power yet. And look, I mean, I'm perfectly happy shooting in the studio at ISO 200 and 400. It's not the end of the world, but like these LEDs are only going to get brighter, right? It's kind of interesting to see that this is some serious power in a relatively small package. Yeah. So they go on to say, interesting to see how this is priced. The 1200 version at half the power costs $3,500. So you got to expect that this is definitely going to be around $5 or $6 grand, right? So again, you know, but that's how much these big LED lights cost, you know. I just kind of it's interesting as well. Like this here, it says it's 2,400 watts bicolor LED with a temperature range from 2,800 to 6,500. So that is not a huge range. I don't know what the rules of, if you can say bicolor, like I don't know what the rules are. Like how much of a range do you have to have? I mean, my rotor lights, what 3,000 to 10,000? That's a decent range. Yeah, you know, it's a very substantial range. That's not as much as I thought it would be. Yeah. This is something else I said. That Godox says that it maintains consistent output throughout its white balance range, ensuring you don't need to keep remetering every time you tweak to match other lights. So what this means is that bicolor lights, essentially they have multiple LEDs in there, right, to create blue and orange, or like the Kelvin spectrum, right? So they'll have different amounts. So on the rotor lights, it's pretty much at maximum power at 5,500 Kelvin, something like that, 5,000 Kelvin. And then if you go all the way down to like 3,000 Kelvin, you like might lose like half a stop or something. Same as if you go all the way up to 10,000, you may lose half a stop of power, because when it's in the middle, you're using both sets of LEDs. When it's down in the warm end, you're only using one set, and at the blue end, you're only using one set, right? So you're not using all the LED power. So, you know, they're kind of saying here that whatever white balance you have, it's going to have a consistent exposure. So I wonder how they're doing that technology-wise inside, because most LEDs are using multiple LEDs to create those different colors. So I wonder how they're doing that to maintain that, unless it is just a power fluctuator in there that goes, when it's at 2,800 Kelvin, change the power output. So it's doing it automatically. Maybe it's doing that, but it's interesting to see these big LED lights coming out with a lot of power being pushed through them, and a company like Godox doing it, right? We all know, you know, Godox is renowned for coming in and sort of revolutionizing certain areas of the lighting industry. So this will be something to keep an eye on and see how they develop this level of lighting lineup that they have. It's interesting. Yeah. Live preview and being able to shoot what you see is what you get. The LED is a game changer. Shooting fire performers and the LED poi without second guessing. Changing the light is brilliant. So I get most of that. Dave, you're saying what you see is what you get. Totally agree. I mean, it's huge. Shooting fire performers and LED POI, point of interest, without second guessing the changing light is brilliant. Yeah, I agree. I mean, like, you're not missing flashes and all that sort of stuff as well. So I mean, it's just easier. Yeah, it is just easier. You know, the Rotolight guys were going, okay, Jake, so your demos that you're going to be doing at the Rotolight event, are you happy to to use the flash and that sort of stuff. It's like, I mean, yeah, I'm happy to. The reason I came away from flash is just because it's so much easier to use your LEDs. I mean, obviously that they want to show off the fact that they can flash, which is great. I do use the flash function when I'm doing long exposure work. But yeah, they were like, oh, you know, just use the flash function. It's like, I mean, I can do it. It's a lot more hassle, right? I came away from flash to get away from that. But yeah, I mean, Rogue Lights is best of both, right? It got the flash as well. Add this to the fact that most people shoot mirrorless nowadays. Yeah, I mean, this is always that's pretty much like the buzzword that I use as well, Vlad. In that I use, I mean, I use DSLR, but you are absolutely right in that most people use mirrorless nowadays, and what that means is that the electronic viewfinder that you're looking through is telling you exactly what the image is looking like in real time. So I mean, with me, I still do like the real image, but like, you know, modern cameras now, there's zero lag or anything like that, and it is very, very believable. And to your point, yeah, the EVF is showing you exactly in like the color as well, right? It's showing you like the tone of the image as well. So yeah, with modern cameras, the LED thing is going to be a no-brainer. And look, I cannot see how the photographic industry just doesn't it has to go into LEDs. I cannot, it's got to be going that way. There's no way that it's not going to, you know. Keep an eye on the news and see how many new flashes are being released. It's like, it's very, very few and far between. So that is, even I shoot mostly on live view as well. I mean, why wouldn't you, right? I mean, yeah, there's no point in handicapping yourself. Yeah, like Steve says, yeah, LED and mirrorless. Agreed. Yeah. So this is a little bit less of a hit from Godox for me here. So this is something that they're bringing out, which I don't know. It's kind of a weird one. So what we've got here is these sort of silver plates, right? That they're kind of bouncing the light off. I'm trying to see if they actually. So it would be good for still life and that sort of thing. You have these plates and you basically bounce the light into it. And what these plates have, they're different levels of diffusion on these plates that he's saying. So you've got like 1 grade, 2 grade, 3 grade of diffusion on these square plates, and like this is like 50 centimeter. I think you do 25s and like tiny ones as well. Like for still life and that sort of thing, I could see it being useful. So what is the benefit of this? These are essentially reflectors, right? But they're fancy reflectors, and like these guys haven't given a price on this yet. But I think somebody else made them before. Yeah, here we go. So look, this is a similar product from a different company. Yeah, $4,500 for these metal plates. Now, many of you may be thinking, "What on earth? Why would I use that? What is that? What is that for?" Like I said, I could see this being super useful for still life shooters, right? Each want to get a tiny little bit of a glint in there and that sort of thing. But like you could just buy mirrors off of eBay, right? And then araldite, whatever it is, you know, a clamp to the back. Maybe even, you know, maybe if you knew what you were doing, you could use metal, sand it down, and that sort of stuff. You know. There's a lot of money for that, and I can see it maybe being used in cinema if you got something up super high. But remember, I mean, I kind of spoke about this in a previous lighting technique where I was using this spotlight, right? And I was using, let me just show you. So I'm bouncing the light here. So I'm bouncing the light. Let me just find it. So here, right? So this is essentially what that is. I've just got a white board up there with 2 C stands. right? So it's just a whiteboard, and then that light is on the floor being bounced up into it, so you then have this beautiful soft fall of light down on the subject. Now this is something that is kind of a new technique to me, and something that I've been playing around with a lot recently, but it is an interesting quality of light. Okay, that's the reason why this kind of caught my eye, because that's really what they are proposing with this, right? Is you have these plates, and then the light that is then bounced off of these plates is incredibly smooth, very clean, very even, no hot spotting and that sort of stuff, or minimal hot spotting. But you can see here that the reflection of other LED panels, right, in the background of this event, like that's a hotspot, right? We've got hotspots here, so it does need to be a certain quality of light, i.e. a Fresnel, which is going to be, no hot spotting, it's going to be very even, or something like I'm using here, which is again very even light from this projected spotlight. So I just thought I'd mention it just because it caught my eye. It's going to be ludicrously overpriced, but maybe it's something that we can kind of experiment with. It did kind of get my brain thinking with regards to these plates and mirrors and that sort of stuff. Using that kind of technique that I mentioned here could be some mileage in it. But yeah, I mean, if a previous one is damn near $5,000, like, yeah, that's nuts. It's nuts. If a film crew, yeah, for sure. If a film crews, yeah. But I mean, there's nothing wrong with us using techniques from cinematographers, yeah. Hey Nick, how you doing? Sorry, late to the show, but have to shoot. I'll revisit later. Question: arm restriction, height in a home studio. What would you suggest to get around to work with? Catch you soon. Yeah. The height thing is something that we struggle with, and this is right here, right? So here, you're restricted by height, right? So what I'm doing here is I'm working around that height restriction by, I'm essentially putting the light directly above the model, even though the light is on the floor. You can only really do this with light that is very even, yeah? And I talk about this, if you haven't read this article, then I strongly advise that you do take a look, because what we want is even lighting. So you couldn't just fire a softbox into one of those, into one of those plates or that whiteboard, because it's just not going to create beautiful light, right? It's not going to come back. I mean, it will be softer, yes, but it's still going to have a hotspot. What you need is collimated light, so light without hotspots, yeah. And this spotlight, as you can see here, right, very clean edge to edge, as opposed to the optical snoot and just a regular reflector, right? Just give me 2 seconds. I just need to let my wife in. I've locked her outside. It's 2 seconds. I let the dog out and then locked the door behind me, and then she was out there. Yeah, so like it's got to be clean edge to edge lighting to begin with. You can't just get some of these boards and then just use a softbox, and it's just not going to be, it's not going to be viable. Yeah. The other thing as well is that with these techniques, it's kind of weird, right? Because this light is basically underneath me, right? I'm shooting here, the model's in front, the light's bouncing down, but that light is on the floor in front of me. So that light is coming up through the shot to begin with before it bounces back down. So if you were to use anything that wasn't focused enough, it's going to hit the model before it hits the board as well. So having this control of space is yeah. But anyway, something to think about with mirrors. It just got me thinking. Yeah. Okay. Would a Neo 3 work for that sort of thing? It's trying to get the light to, if you wanted What were you trying to do, Annie? Were you trying to do that shot with the light above? Is that what you're saying? That's what you wanted to do. Yeah. It would be a tough one to do it with a Neo. Yeah. Yeah. It would be tough. Yeah, it would be tough. I can't see how, because what's going to happen is that light is just going to hit the model before it hits the top and comes back down, right? So it's going to hit the model. It's going to hit the model first before it comes back down. So I don't really see it as being viable. One thing that you could try. Yeah, one thing that you could try. Let me just. I'm kind of thinking on the fly here a little bit, but. So one thing that you could do is you could have, if you're here with the camera, the model's here. One thing that you could do is you could have the board above, yeah? You're going to need that board above, either or, right? You're going to have that board above. Then what you could do is you could, I'm not saying you do have this, but if you do have a C-stand or a boom or something like that, then you could pop the Neo on that, right? You don't have to have the stand that way, but it's just going off the side, and then that Neo would come into this here, right? And then that would come down. So that would be the best bet in terms of getting softer light, yeah. In terms of having it, just trying to get it as soft as possible. So that's going to be softer than putting it through a scrim or something like that. It's going to be bouncing off a board, yeah. If you wanted that light above, but yeah, if you could boom that Neo above, I don't know how high your ceilings are, you know. I mean, here, mine aren't, like, in a regular home, they're not high. I don't know how high they are, they're 8 feet or something like that. So they're not high, but you could probably, if you wanted to test it, you know, you could test it with a Neo. You just have to crank up the ISO on the camera a bit, just put the Neo up, full power, and see what kind of light you get coming down from it. But in theory, it should be pretty soft, yeah. As much as I love the Neo 3's bouncing it over a distance at a push on its power, unless the exactly. So yeah, Dave's sort of covered exactly my concern there as well. Is that when you're bouncing off of something, you're gonna lose a ton of power. But you know, if you wanted to test it just to see what the quality of light looked like, you know, ISO wise, you could probably push it, yeah. Would you need the board slightly in front to take into account the angle of the light coming down? Okay, yeah. So what Steve's saying here. So I had the boards in that shot like directly above, just because I kind of wanted to see it. And to Steve's point, or I might have had us slightly back. So what Steve's saying here is that the model, right? Camera, and what we had, you know, rather than having the board directly above like this, he's saying kind of bring it slightly in front, which would be easier to work with, yeah. Right now, all the light coming down would be mostly, you're going to get more light coming down onto the front of the face, right? So yeah, I would say that would, you know, if you were looking for more of a flattering shot over like that dramatic top light that they use in cinema, then yeah, bringing it forward is a good tip, Steve. Yeah. Did that just comment disappear? Did he delete that? Okay. Right. What are we getting here? Okay. So this here, I was wondering if you guys tried this technique to get like medium format shots from regular cameras. Now these guys have brought out this fancy adapter and that sort of stuff, and it's not relevant for portraits. It's really only relevant for landscapes and that sort of thing. But essentially using medium format lenses on your camera, and yeah. So what you do is you take a shot, turn the camera, take a shot, turn the camera, and then you merge these images afterwards to create this kind of medium format massive file. Yeah. Hey Rod, oh, you tuned in for the art attack. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. Yeah. Don't worry, we did already speak about the launch event. I did insist that everybody attending here today must come and check it out. Yeah. So anybody like tried this? Like I mean, I don't think you need to buy the adapter. You could kind of do it by hand, just by shooting 4 separate images, or if you're doing like a landscape, shooting multiples. But it's kind of an interesting idea. I was wondering if anybody, Vlad, have you tried this? Yeah. Again, it's probably an expensive. I mean, this is for, this adapter is for what the L mount, the Leica, or something like that. Yeah. But I think there's a bunch of different cameras. It's probably cost a fortune. There you go, 300 quid. Yeah. Interesting idea. Yeah, it's not my sort of thing. I don't shoot portrait landscape, so it's not really relevant to me. Yeah. Vlad says I tried the Brunizia method in general, but as I shoot either people or selfie, it's hard to find it useful. Perfect. Okay. I thought I knew you would have done. Yeah, or I was fairly confident that you would have tried that technique, but. And it is interesting to test it, but you would kind of need like a medium format type lens anyway, really, to get that look. But yeah, it's an interesting idea. Right, that's all the products out of the way, and just wanted to little bit of inspiration. This guy's work, Daniel Archer, is just absolutely gorgeous work. I always see his stuff. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Absolutely beautiful stuff with darker tones. Just beautiful work. It just has a lot of I don't know, something organic about it. It feels like it's shot on film. May or may not be. It's gorgeous quality, and like the editing that he does to his images is absolutely beautiful. Yeah. Like if you haven't seen Daniel's work, then you have to check it out. It's just stunning imagery, beautiful colors as well. I mean, this all looks to be like the same. This is just one shoot. Just casually, just get an entire portfolio out of this this one shoot. No big deal. But look at the lighting and stuff here. It's just absolutely gorgeous, and the finish on that, it's just incredible. Yeah, absolutely incredible. Beautiful colors. Finish on that. It's got to be film, right? You think? Maybe not. Don't know. Yeah, beautiful stuff. So check out Daniel Archer's work. I've shown it before on Stay Inspired, but yeah, check it out. It's gorgeous stuff. So in AI news, everybody's seen the latest images from AI, the latest how should we say, subliminal messages from AI. A couple of, nothing crazy here. How about if you squint? How about if you squint at the screen? Now what do you see? Right? So there's been a whole bunch of these images coming out from AI that don't immediately look like AI images, just regular shots, and then there'll be subliminal messages in them. Like, cool, okay, big fan. We've got that to look forward to now. So keep your eyes open for those. And then lastly, this those of you who were watching the stream last time around, we spoke about the Samsung phone and how they faked images of the moon. When you photographed the moon, they would basically replicate the moon image with basically an image that had already been taken, right? And Wayne Kant sent me this. Samsung users be like, that's a regular camera, and then the Samsung user Samsung getting there's some good Samsung memes coming out of that. It's pretty funny. So lastly then, just following up on a little bit of housekeeping in owning up. A couple of weeks ago I shared you this guy's work, spectacle here from John Noy. Beautiful images, very cool style, and there was some speculation about probably AI, Jake. I was like, I don't think so. Seems like it's just overlays in Photoshop and that sort of stuff. He's got some beautiful shots, and it turns out that yes, sadly it was AI. So I misinformed you, and I reached out to him. I said, look, shared your work and that sort of stuff. And he's like, oh, yeah, cool. Thanks very much. So he says here, my images are all done with AI, but it's taken 30 years of doing traditional photography and creating over 27,000 images. Sounds like a weekend shoot for you, Dave, in Midjourney to get where I'm at. So, some could argue that he was being defensive in the fact, yeah, it is AI, but like I've created 27,000 images, which is it's a lot. But so yeah, sadly they were AI. I think he then came in here and said images were done in AI, but it's taken 30 years of traditional photography. So he is he's been shooting for a long time. A lot of people think you just type some words into AI and it spits out an image, but there's a lot of work that goes into getting an image that looks good. Nice that you spotted the David Carson influence. Yeah. Okay, so there you go. Another one bites the dust. But, beautiful images. Just a shame that it's AI. Is that right, Steve? Yeah, really. You can, if you zoom into a light bulb and it's yeah, the camera, I can't believe Samsung thought they were going to get away with that, right? It's just nuts. It's just crazy. Yeah. How did they think they were because when I spoke about it last week, people were taking blurry photographs of the moon on their laptop screen, and it was refocusing it. So it was refocusing an out of focus image on the laptop screen, and because it thought it was the moon. It's like, guys, how you thought you were going to get away with that? But yeah. Okay, so right. So what are we talking about then? What are we talking about this week? We're talking about working in smaller studios, right? Many of us may be working from home, maybe starting out in smaller studio apartment or whatever it is, working in a small space, like lighting in a small space. And how can we kind of make it work? Do we need a bigger studio? When should we get a bigger studio? Should we start renting a studio? What are the benefits of it, and that sort of thing? And I think that it's something that especially us Europeans or in Asia and that sort of thing, we struggle with more so than in America, where they have a little bit more space, right? And I've certainly been on sessions with guys, and they're like, oh yeah, I don't have much space over here. I've only got my Floridian double garage, which is larger than my home. It's our understanding of space and how much space we need is subjective, right? How much space is enough space? What can we do in that space? So I just wanted to have a little bit of a chat about that. And I do workshops. Literally, I've got workshops on working a workshop titled Big Studio Lighting in Small Spaces, which is designed around that, like the whole idea of working in small spaces, home studios. How do we deal with it, right? I'm not going to go through the full PDF here, but I'm just going to bring up a couple of the things that we can kind of struggle with in small spaces. Because the counter to that is, big space, we have high ceilings, white floors, big nice windows to work with if you need it, wide shooting areas, infinity curves, which are these curves here. They're called infinity curves because you just blast it with light and you can't see the corner of the back of the room, right? Neutral coloring, so all the colors in these big studios are all either gray or pure white, so nothing to worry about, and just plenty of open space to work with. So this is the dream, right? Big open studios, daylight if you need it, high ceilings, so you're not worried about putting lights above the model and she's 6 foot with high heels. You're not worrying about any of that, right? So big studios are nice. Counter that, what we're working with in a smaller space or a home studio, or if you're going to do a corporate headshot, right? You go to the office, right? You got to work. I've done tons of those in the past where you turn up at the office and it's just like, low ceilings is obviously a big one, right? Multicolored floors is more of a problem than you think. Like here in the 90s, we seem to make office buildings with like magenta and bright green floors. I don't know, like it's awful, horrendous, right? No windows in some of these spaces as well, like very, very narrow shooting area, so you can't get the lights far enough on the sides and that sort of stuff. No infinity curves, so there's none of this beautiful curve at the back there. Varied coloring, like I said, different colored floors, different colored ceilings, walls, just artwork on the wall, like it's just a mess, right? And then constrictive spaces, so dealing with that. So just to sum up, the biggest issues with shooting in small spaces is going to be the light bounce, color contamination. A lot of the time, smaller space, you're going to have kit in shot, right? Limited backgrounds as well, right? What do we do with regards to having backgrounds and that sort of thing in shot? How do we keep it fresh? Like, we just have a white background all the time, or do we have a brick wall? Like, how do we keep it fresh? For our own sanity. Limited kit as well. Like if you're doing a corporate headshot or something like that, like what do you do? It's just not possible to take tons of kit as well. And even if you're working from your own home studio, like you can't have tons of kit because you've got nowhere to store it. So how can we use space saving modifiers and that sort of thing? So these are some of the things, and obviously this is just the intro to my Big Studio Lighting in Small Spaces workshop, and I'm not going to go through the whole 50 plus pages here, but these are some of the things that we kind of fight with, right? Did I just see comments being deleted by Facebook, or are you guys deleting the comments that you write? Like, what is it? What I'm seeing comments appear here and then disappear afterwards. I saw in the background that somebody posted something and then it's gone. But yeah, so if you posted something, then I can't see it. Sorry. So these are some of the things that we need to work around, right? So let's have a look then. One thing I just wanted to talk about here, I just wanted to show you this. This is from my Creatively Simple Lighting workshop, but this is like one of the first shoots I did with color gels a million years ago, right? Super long time ago. This was done in my front room, in my old just like terraced house. We lived upstairs, tiny space in the lounge, and me kind of experimenting with color gels and that sort of thing. This is one of the first times that I was playing with it. So horrendously poor lighting aside, right? Looking back at this is terrible light placements and overlapping and just nasty, just lights cancelling each other out and banding and all sorts. So all that aside, and the somewhat over skin retouch that was more popular back then. But anyway, long time ago, and then some years after that, Bowens got in touch and was like, we want to use these images as international adverts and that sort of stuff. Okay, so they were used to sell their flash heads, internationally. Cool, great. Now, them as a client don't know where those images were taken, right? You got to remember that, you may feel awkward and a pain in the ass and not very professional, maybe working in a small space, but sometimes the client doesn't know, right? They're all only focused on the final image, right? That's really all they care about is the final image. They don't know that it was shot in like your basement or mother's kitchen, or right, especially when you're just setting up a studio setup, right? It's it really doesn't matter where it's shot if you can make it look good, right? The next page in this is just giving you an example of the space that I was working in. We got 2 meters by just shy of 3.5 meters, and then the ceiling of just shy of 2.5 meters again. So this is kind of the space that we're talking about. Yes, a very small space, right? Very small space. And then all these images, all these very old images, were all created in that space. Fashion editorials through to more of the high key stuff, album covers. They were all shot in that tiny space. Yeah. So it's like having a small space is never an excuse not to create great images. You can certainly do a ton of incredible work in very, very small spaces, and it's really about light control, having the ability and the skill to be able to control the light in those small spaces that could be holding you back, right? So if you're thinking, the shots are looking shit, like colors everywhere, lights everywhere, oh no, if only I had a bigger space, I would be able to create better images. Sadly, that is not the case, right? Now, the type of work that I do is conducive to having like 5 or 6 lights in a small space like this. You can do it, but you need to be bang on with exactly where every single light is going, and having complete control of what that light is doing, where it's falling, where it's not falling, bringing it in close, turning it way down so that drop off is real quick, like having control of those lights in small spaces. Like this is an exercise in light control, working in tiny spaces, whether it be corporate office or going, years ago we used to go around to do family portraits in people's homes, right? We go around to their homes. You don't know what you're turning up to, right? You don't know, like, do we have a lounge to work in? Like, so having the ability to adapt and having the skills to work in these smaller spaces, in my opinion, for portraits and for a lot of what many of us are trying to do, is a skill in its own right, okay? But having a small space is never an excuse to create crappy images, right? It isn't. You can do a huge amount in a small space with the proper light control, using the right modifiers, using the right, even the right, kit to, the light stands, and, getting the light stands out of shot and all that sort of stuff. There is tons and tons that you can do in a small space. So, is a big studio necessary? No, it's not. I mean, and I've been on shoots where clients have, rented out a big studio, right? And for the type of lighting that I do, the lights need to be actually fairly close to the model. So we're just using a small section in the middle of that studio, right? We've just created our own mini studio within this big studio. So if you want to be doing high key fashion, full body of, 5-10 models, sure, yeah, you're probably going to need more space and a bigger studio. But like, if that's not what you're going to be doing 24/7, then it's not often needed. Yeah, it really isn't. I know, Steve, it is. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, there, like I said, it is down to experience with the lights, and I'm not saying that it's easy. It isn't. But I've certainly used 5 or 6 lights in that space in a variety of different ways to just carve out certain sections on the model, and you can do it. But it, sometimes it can be just getting used to how certain modifiers react and the type of look that you're after. I know, Jamie. I was thinking that. I knew you were going to say that. Yeah. Just give you a taste, Jamie. Just give you a taste. And he says, I thought half my basement would be plentiful, but once the equipment goes in, there's barely any room for the model. Thank God the 24-70 lens. Yeah, I mean, what sort of space are you working with, Annie? Yeah, because I think in one of your, because you shared a shot, right, where it was, where you had like the background in there as well, maybe? Yeah, maybe I'm wrong. Okay, so let's say for now that we want to, get creative in our smaller spaces, home studios, whatever it is. There's tons of resources out there, but there's already loads on my website of setups and stuff that you can try. About making the most of the space that you have, and just using setups that are geared around those small spaces. Even simple stuff like this, and this is relevant to you, Annie, because you mentioned this in the share a shoot, right? You shared an image where you're using tinfoil as the background. It's about how can we create, because you could shoot this in a corridor, right? Like you don't need that much space, right? So this here, I can't zoom in on that, but yeah, so this here is just got two strip boxes either side. Oh, there you go, it's up there, two strip boxes, and then we just got tinfoil behind, right? And the trick here is just to be shooting wide open, right? But it's about how can we be creative in a small space, and then I'm here down here. There's like bokeh in front of the lens. I think I'm holding like an ashtray in front of the lens or something like that. I mean, you could use a champagne flute. You don't need to be quite as scummy as me, but having that depth, right? Adding that interest in there. I've got content creator clients where I'm basically shooting in the space of a king size bed that fills the room. Nice. That sounds real classy, Dave. That sounds beautiful. Yeah, my stands can't go up in the wall like your stands in your drawing, unfortunately. Up in the wall. Oh. You're talking about this? Oh yeah, I mean, is that what you mean? Yeah, I mean you can turn those, turn the stands around, but yeah, like this is what did you say you had? What space did you say you had? I've got 20 feet by 11 feet. That's massive, Annie. What are you talking about? 20 feet by 11. What? That's loads, isn't it? 20 feet. How many meters is 20 feet? That's a lot. That's loads. I switched over to my laptop because some of my messages weren't appearing. Was it yours that would what were you? So it was yours then, Steve. Was it your images were posted and then they were just being deleted? It was weird, yeah. I'm not deleting them, I promise. Switch over. What prompted my question is seeing established people like Lindsay Adler buying her own firehouse in New York, and other talented under 30 shooting in big production London studios and finding the budget to do so, and me being super jealous. I mean, I guess, yeah. I mean, we don't look. Lindsay Adler is obviously very, very successful. Creates amazing images, gorgeous images, very, very talented creator, but like we don't know her story, we don't know, maybe all that money is coming from, the big budget clients that she's working with. Absolutely. Maybe there's other aspects of her life that we don't know about, and that's the same for a lot of people. You can't really compare like for like that. I understand why you're doing it, but you got to focus on what you're doing, and I think that you can do a huge amount with the space that you have before you start jumping into buying a studio. Now, I don't have my own studio per se. I had more space at one point, but now if it's individual like solo clients, then who don't have a big budget, right? Then I'll go, look, you come here. whatever. We can do a shoot here just on your own. But as soon as there's some money involved in the gig, you just rent in a studio. Like you're renting a studio for, just outside of London here, you can get a studio all day, three or 400 quid, right? On a decent budget shoot, that's just a drop in the ocean. So like if you need that space, then cool. Is it nice to have it? Yeah, sure. But how often are you really going to be using it? If you're not using it 5 days a week, it's just dead space, right? One alternative is to timeshare it. Like I said, that's something that you would need to be pretty comfortable and confident with the people that you were timesharing a space with. But lots of people do it, and I've worked with tons of photographers who do that. So you go, you're all chipping in rent a month, and then you have this you have this calendar or whatever that is live for all 4 or 5 of you, whoever it is, and then you book in slots right in that time. You got to be open to that, because there will be people who use it more than others, and they're like, well, I only used it 3 times this month, I didn't pay as much. You got to be open-minded going into that agreement. Is it always going to be available? Not always, but for the most part, you're getting a very good deal. If you're splitting the rent of a big studio, 4 or 5 people, definitely doable. And then it's not a noose either, right? You just cut loose. Be very careful with contracts and that sort of thing, because if somebody dips out of that, or 2 people or 3 people dip out of that, then you're left carrying the bag every month. You've got to be very, very careful with that. So make sure you've got something written up. But yeah, that timeshare is a very timeshare way of owning a studio is a very popular way to do it. And a lot of people get a lot of mileage from that. Let's have a look. 200 foot, 60 meters. That's massive. Yeah. I would say that she has space, but like her setups are usually of one person. That a lot of her setups are doable in smaller spaces than she has. Yeah. The other thing as well, Steve, is there's lots of people who own studios, and then they will rent it out right during the week. So it's kind of, so you're not time sharing it, and you're not on this shared calendar, but now you're renting it out to other people, right? So you have more control in theory, right? You're the overarching ruler of that studio, and now you're renting it out. I was chatting to a guy in South Africa the other day, and that's exactly what he was doing, right? He's got this beautiful studio, wow, gorgeous studio, but for the most part, it's other people using it. He uses it when he does his shoots, but then you've got the worry of like, oh shit, I got a last minute shoot that's come in, I can't use my own studio. Do I let them use my kit, or do you insist that everybody brings their own kit? Is it going to be scuffed? Now I'm turned into a studio manager, not a photographer. There is pros and cons of all of these things, right? All good, Steve. Yeah, all good. I mean, somebody earlier on in the chat mentioned about town halls and that sort of stuff. That's a really good suggestion. I forget who mentioned that, but yeah, I mentioned it at the start, and that's a really good idea. So like something like a town hall, or like a Cub Scout hall or something like that. There are loads of these places, like community centers, community art centers, and that sort of stuff. Loads of these places are in towns in Europe, right, where especially here in the UK, that they are just like, some of them I know for a fact you could rent for like a £5, right? Like, and I'm not saying that you abuse that. I am just saying that some of these places that, like they do like garden fetes and that sort of stuff, or it's like the church hall, right? And they're like, oh, if you go, because it's just a space, right? It's just a space. Normally they put up tables and chairs, but you can just rent it out and use it as a studio. If you're bringing your own kit, if you've already got your own kit and you don't need kit, then you can rent these big spaces for honestly next to nothing, right? Now, granted, you may have to, you know, pick up the model from the train station or something like that yourself, and it's not always super convenient for the people getting there. But some of these church halls and town halls and that sort of stuff, super cheap. Like, and I honestly, like, we're talking, I know one of them was like £3 an hour or something like that. It's just nuts, because they're like, oh well, you know, because it's all going, you know, charity from their point of view, right? I'm not saying you abuse that. Obviously, don't abuse that. That's what they're charging. That's up to them. But yeah, some of them are crazy cheap. So, you know, have a look on, you know, certain Facebook groups and that sort of thing, thinking about where people are doing fates, or, you know, showing flowers or whatever it is. Like church halls are a classic one, you know, because it's like, I remember like Cub Scouts halls are another good one. Dirt cheap. Yeah. Dave says, I'm in an extremely lucky position to have a studio space coming up for free, 5 meters wide by around 50 meters long. Oh, that's massive. Yeah, nice. It'll be a bare shell to start, but who doesn't like a blank canvas? Yeah, I mean, and look for most of us, like most of us here now chatting away, like I've got kit, right? We've got tons and tons of kit. It's not the fact that we need to rent a studio with tons of lighting. We've got the kit, so all we need is just this shell, right? So that's perfect. Yeah. Steve says, I knew 2 guys who had a great studio, poured loads of money into the infinity wall, etc. A year later, after refurbing the place, landlord wanted the space back. Oh man, that's rough. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's rough. Yeah. I mean, those stories are out there. Yeah, some church halls have an epic stained glass window at the back. Yeah, nice, true. Yeah, that's true actually, Steve. Yeah, let's all get to Dave's. Apparently, we do have to go up north. So, you know, it's not all roses, but I'm sure we can make it work. Right. So, right, what else we got then, space-wise? Okay, so you know, setups in small spaces. This is great setup. It's like almost like a proof of concept, really, that you could shoot this in a corridor. All it is, you just buy this like a silver reflector off eBay, cut a hole in it, shoot your stick your camera through it, put a light behind the model, boom. Okay, beautiful beauty lighting, and you could shoot this in a corridor. Like, it needs no space at all. Yeah, it is literally that easy. Okay, I'm just showing you these guys as, you know, look, you know, how can we be creative in the spaces that we have, you know, because this doesn't look like this was shot in a corridor, right? But that's what it is. It's just boom, one softbox, one reflector, cut a hole in it, job's a good one, right? Pretty straightforward. Now you can kind of double down on that. This one here, definitely one of my favorite setups, but super easy to do. And again, shoot this practically in a corridor if you needed to, right? Again, softbox behind, yeah, whack a gel in there, and put another kind of softbox not directly behind you, but just off to the side, and boom. You don't need any space for this. Like, how can we be creative in these smaller spaces? Yeah. Oh, there's that color density thing. Yeah. So yeah, evolution of that, very simple. Just need a couple of softboxes and off you go. Right. Super impactful image. Something else here about, you know, just trying to not only thinking about the background, but, you know, thinking about the foreground as well. I know somebody in chat a couple of streams ago was testing out this setup, playing around with it. It's kind of cool, right? Just get a sheet of perspex. I'm using glass here. I do not recommend doing that, but sheet of perspex, just stick some cling film to it and shine colored lights into that cling film, and you get this really cool effect. But again, don't need much space, right? Boom, real close. Yeah, and you shine different colors into it, different effects. Beautiful effect, super simple to do. Yeah, a lot of fun. I'd forgotten all about these. This is ancient, man. Damn, these are actually pretty good. How old is this? 2017. Oof, man, I've forgotten about this one. This is a good one. Yeah, maybe something else. Like, I need to go through some of these old ones, because I think there's ways that you could readapt some of these old ideas to create some cool effects. Like, because I've got 2 different colors on that clean film there. It's actually pretty cool. Yeah. Obviously, you will need shadow depth of field, but I'll have to read that later. That sounds like a good article. What else have we got here? So backdrops, right? I mentioned before about how do we keep backdrops, fresh in small studios, especially. It's like, oh great, a white wall, awesome. So just a couple of ideas. Window blinds. You guys know I've been banging on about the ease of window blinds for years. Cheapest chips on Amazon, like 20 quid. You get yourself, any color window blind you you like. You can even get these fancy ones. This is fancy one from John Lewis here. It's like metal threads and that sort of stuff. But tons and tons of variety. Not expensive, right? Window blinds are a real easy win. If you're looking for something a little bit more textured. So I don't know if any of these are good for you, Annie. I know you do a variety of shots, especially at home studio, in your basement, that sort of stuff. Something like this could be useful, where you just want to bring in some more organic elements rather than it just being like a colorama. Like Lino, I mean that's a company name. I don't know if that's the same in the US, but it's basically the floor, right? Laminate flooring. But yeah, you can get these really cool laminate floorings that have a lot of texture to them, right? They're super heavy, so they lie dead flat, and they're great if you want something with more organic, like woods and stone and that sort of stuff. So as long as they're kind of out of focus in the background, pretty legit, right? And again, super easy to have set up, not difficult, not that expensive either. I mean, it is heavy as all hell. This was years ago, but it's like 20 quid, no, 5 quid for a square meter. What you need, you just get four square meters, job done, 20 quid. I'm just looking at some of the benefits here. Yeah, I mean, like, one of the major benefits for me on these is just the weight of them. So they hang like dead flat. And it's not like vinyl, which is super shiny, right? Vinyl catches the light, it's really nasty. Whereas this lino, because it's textured, has like grooves and grain and stuff in it, doesn't really catch the light, so it works really well. Mottled backdrops, classic. I know, those of us who grew up in the 80s, I kind of dread the idea of a mottled smoky backdrop, but they are coming back in, right? Fashion houses in New York and Paris, they just love these mottled backdrops. Now you can get the hand painted ones, which are exquisite, gorgeous, but they'll probably set you back 100 150 quid, something like that, for a half decent one. A technique here where you can just make your own. Again, just buy a window blind, just get some black chalk paint, and you paint the window blind with this blackboard paint, and then you just put white, just rub white chalk into it, and you get this beautiful effect on the background. I've used that in tons of shoots. Yeah, super effective. Cost you like 25 quid all in. So yeah, worth having a go. And then this one here, just talking about just a quick setup, right? So key, background light, and maybe a reflector. So 2 lights, job done. Let's have a look what we got here. Mate of mine has turned an old church in Leeds into a massive shooting area. Oh, nice. He does both stills and video. Also hires out a guy called Neil Chapman. Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah. I've seen a couple of churches turned into studios. Beautiful spaces. Obviously, the high ceilings is perfect for it. Yeah. Cold as all bloody hell to keep warm. JP's taking the mick out. Honestly, it's all love here, mate. It's all love here. Yeah. Awesome catch lights. I think you were talking about the. I think you're talking about this, right? Yeah. The benefit of these catch lights is because you're super close to the model with this. Yeah. So you're super close. So it means the catch lights in the eyes are really big. Yeah, it's really nice. Yeah. And always have cling film backpack for this. Oh, really, Vlad? Nice. Okay, cool. Nice. Yeah. Explain that to the police. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You guys have thought way too much about this. What was that backdrop article you posted recently? It looked like a projection. Did I imagine that? I was meaning to follow up on that, so you remember. So that backdrop, yeah, is not a projected image. That is a new technique that I'm putting together for my new workshop. Yeah, so because I've got a projector workshop, but this is kind of new techniques that I'll be saving for the workshop. Yeah. No, cling film was related. Like it's narcotics. Vlad's acting all innocent now. Yeah. Dave says PVC wall cladding is super light and comes in loads of designs now. A couple of quid for 10-foot length. Cut a couple in half, clips together, then comes apart for storage. PVC wall cladding. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Interesting. So what? It just oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, I see what you mean. It just clips together, does it? Good tip, Dave. Like it. Yeah, good tip. Okay. Yeah, it's good. Well, even that one? No. Having me on. Okay. I'll have a look at that. Might be something interesting there, especially like something like the marble and stuff could be cool. Yeah, because the marble would be legit because you're expecting to see a seam in marble anyway. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, it could be cool. Yeah. Be careful with the reflections, but otherwise it should be good. Yeah. Yeah. No place that supplies it too. If you say B&Q, Dave, I swear to God. Right, couple more. Oh yeah, this is the mottled backdrop. Yeah, look at these, the Oliphant hand painted. I mean, I suppose they are essentially just massive, like what, 8-foot by 12-foot canvases, like $1,500. But still, it's pricey, right? But yeah, definitely just make one yourself. Pretty easy. You supply your day job. All right, Dave. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. I've been eyeing up a new short throw projector. I think it's as Kickstarter. All the usual suspects are reviewing it on the tube. Oh, really, Steve? Okay. Have you got a link to that? I'd be interested to see that. I don't have a short throw one, but in small spaces that would be cool. If you could keep it behind the model, as long as you've got space to. If it's short throw that you've got space to put it behind the model, it could be cool. Yeah. New Lightroom just dropped. Looks like they added some nice features, but it might just be that the new version is for tablets or something. Yeah, true. Yeah. Okay, thanks for that, Vlad. Yeah, I certainly wasn't aware of that. So again here, right, thinking about this is window blind, but here we're kind of faking it, right? So we're faking this kind of window effect, and then in a small space, like that's actually pretty good. Eh? That wine glass upped my game from ashtrays to wine glasses. But yeah, so just having like this Venetian blind, just as a fake wall that's going to let light through, something to play around with. But more importantly, don't just think about the background. Think about what's in front of the camera as well. If we're trying to make the space look bigger, we're not just thinking about the background. We're thinking about how we can add foreground elements to make it look, like a deeper room. So having stuff in front of the lens like this can be super effective for doing that. If you want to get really fancy, you sort of bring that dappled light indoors. I'm using these old glass blocks, so it's really nice. Again, like some of these are. This is a blast from the past doing this stream. Like some of these, that's really nice. So what lens is that? It's the old Lens Baby Twist. Might have to dig that out. That's nice. I love that. That kind of aberration twist. That's good, yeah. Tell you what, those Lens Babies, I know many of you here use them, but I feel like it's really weird because I was working fairly close with them many years ago, and they were going down the route of trying to elevate the brand a little bit with some of the images that they were working on. In the end, they ended up just going. There was nothing wrong with this, by the way, but they ended up just focusing on like the kind of mom and pop, side of things. People sort of opening their own studios in their own homes and that sort of stuff. So they kept like the images that they share very safe and just more believable and a little bit more realistic than fashion editorial style images. But even though like a lot of the images that you see from Lens Baby kind of look a little bit cliche, again, nothing wrong with that. Like the quality of glass in these things is outstanding. I mean it's not for everybody, but I'm love that. It's really nice. Yeah. Can people see the link? No, I can't see the link. Did you post it? No. That's annoying. I thought that is super annoying. Yeah. Can you just post it without the .com, and then we can add the .com? Again here, right, this is a real old setup from before the word Corona got a fairly bad reputation. But again, like using small spaces to our advantage, right? How can we use this small space to our advantage? So here we're actually using the low ceilings to actually bounce the light around this black sheet of velvet here. So we're actually using the small space to our advantage, right? So again, thinking about how you can utilize that. So here we can see just got the black velvet and bouncing that light off the wall behind her, and it's kind of creeping around to create that effect. Really cool setup to play with. Yeah. A lot of fun to mess around with that. Oh look, it's back when I used to post the raws. What else we got here? Again, using small space to our advantage. Here we're creating this super soft light by having this low ceiling. What we're doing is we're bouncing the lights off the low ceiling, and then we've got this diffusion material over her, and that light is coming through. So it's like basically double diffuse. So you have this beautiful soft light on the model. So again, using that small space to your advantage. So here you go. I'm just suspending this, scrim above. There was loads. Where's all the rest of the images from this shoot? They're not supposed to. Okay, I guess. Oh, I was just doing my adverts first. Okay. Yeah. Now, granted, she sat down there, but still, worth playing with, right? Worth playing with. And again, using that low ceiling to your advantage, right? Oh, the Corona, Ellen. Yeah, it's a good one. Yeah, it's a good one. Yeah. Again, here, so sort of like bringing that kind of daylight indoors. And again, I'm just using window blinds, right? So I'm just stacking 2 window blinds, a white one next to a blue one, creating that kind of separation, and then just bringing in some stronger lights. Yeah. But again, thinking about how we can create more creative backgrounds and stuff in a small space. Here we just got some, silver mylar, ring flash, nothing crazy there. Just hang that up again. Super simple background. And then lastly, This one was surprising. So this one was like, this is nuts. This is like a space blanket type thing, or a heat blanket, okay? And you can get these for like a couple of quid. And all I've done is suspended it on the ceiling there, and then just, there you go, fired my optical snoot into it, and it creates this beautiful dappling effect. It's like super simple to do, but beautiful, beautiful lighting. Yeah, really nice. Like it a lot. Again, these images, like, I've just got I've got this terrible concept of my own work. Like, looking at older images, like in my mind, I'm always thinking, like, oh my god, the images I took years ago are terrible. I've got this horrendous opinion of my own work in my mind. It's really bad. Some of these are like really good. Yeah. Oh, this is gorgeous. Yeah, beautiful light on that. Super simple. We got here Nexi Go Aurora Pro. God, that's the name of it. I did that with mine. That was super cool. Oh, nice, Robin. Yeah, you tried that one. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, and my light's like dirt cheap as well. Let's have a look. Oh, this is the YouTube videos you talk about, Steve. Yeah. This is the one, yeah. Just the 2.5 gram one. That's the one. That's the one you're after. You say it was a Kickstarter? Oh, there we go. What? All right. Funding for this project was suspended by Kickstarter. So does that mean that they made it, or no, didn't make it, or not? Is that 1 million? What? Are you kidding me? What? This thing made over 1 million? Who? Like, this thing must be amazing, Steve. Did you back this, Steve? It's half that. I saw a video. Yeah, maybe it makes more sense. It is. Shit. Okay. Wow. I mean, it obviously impressed. I mean, that's nuts. Oh, we need 16,000 if that's possible. Jesus. I was like, I thought I was like, oh, maybe it didn't make it. Maybe it only made 1,200. And I'm like, no, that is a comma, not a decimal. Wow. Okay. I'll have a look at that, Steve. That's interesting. Yeah. I mean, that's a lot of money. A lot of money for a piece of lighting gear. Yeah, I guess if you're going to use it full time at home, it's different. But interesting. I'll look at that. Yeah, good shout. I smell exactly, Dave. I know. Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah, that's enough money. Thank you. We'll stop taking money now if that's okay. Before Mylar, I literally went to a party store and bought clear plastic party tray, filled it with thin layer of water and blasted light through it. Put it all in the raft of the garage. Safe to say, model got wet. It's good thinking, though, Robin. It is good thinking. Yeah, and I do know what you mean, because I have thought about that before, trying to blast light, like very hard light, through ripples in water, because in theory it should work, right? Did the images work? Like, it was a good idea. Yeah, clear plastic tray. Didn't know it blasted light through it. Put it all in the rafters in my garage. So I presume you had to have somebody splashing the water to get the ripples, right? Yeah. 3D projector, is it? It's not. I mean, I just assumed that was just marketing. It did work, but the tray was too small for him. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Yeah. Especially from that range. Okay, yeah. So if you could have scaled it up, gotcha. Okay, cool idea though. That's what love seeing the experiments. That's what it's all about, right? Trying to, again, you're working in a garage and that sort of stuff. You're trying to make a space work for you. Yeah. Okay. So look, a lot covered there in working in small spaces. Do you really need a bigger space? Like, are you concerned about bringing a client back there? Is that what the issue is? Are you embarrassed about bringing a client back to your front room or the basement and that sort of stuff? If that's the issue, then okay, fine. Then you might need to take it further and seeing if you can rent a place, get somewhere, or I don't know, timeshare it, church hall, something like that. But if you're just doing like model tests and that sort of stuff and just learning and playing and just enjoy the process of creating, I think there's almost an infinite amount of lighting that you can do in a very small space. If you've got a room that's 2 meters by 3 meters, I think you can do a ton in that. Yeah. Dave says, I thought I saw it could be bought with 3D glasses. Oh, I did see that at the bottom, Dave. Yeah, that's true. I thought we were over that. I thought the 3D glasses thing died out like 10 years ago. Didn't LTT make a vid on that projector, or was it? Okay, I think, yes, Steve said there was a bunch of videos out there. I have not heard of this. Yeah, I'm interested though. Yeah. Like Dave said. Weird one, right? Don't know. We'll see. Did you back it, Steve? Did you say you did back it or not? Right. Let's have a look. So, any questions on the small studio spaces and that sort of thing? Let me know. Otherwise, let's have a look at people's images. See what people have shared here. Let's have a look. So, give this a quick refresh. Right. So we're getting a little bit late. Let's see how we're doing. Olivia's up top there. Nice. Vlad's got an image. Got everybody's in there. Love that. We've got some good ones in here. Got some colour. Brett's in there as well. Brett tuned in late. Annie, I saw this one. Annie, yeah, we think we kind of spoke about that. Nice. Okay, cool. So we've got some great images in here, guys. Yeah, really good. Yeah. So Olivia, let's have a look first off. So Olivia, I know we're going to be speaking one-to-one in the next couple of weeks. So I will certainly go into this in a lot more detail then for you. That's absolutely fine. But this is great. Like the fundamentals of what we're trying to achieve here, I think is there with this setup. So what I'm looking for here is that we have this highlight and then it drops off to shadow, and then we have our orange come in there, right? And that's kind of what we're looking for, right? We're looking for this nice drop off of light, because you can only apply a gel to a shadow, right? So if we turn these orange lights off, I'm assuming what happens here is that this blue dips off into shadow, right? Which means that then we have a shadow that then we can start to bring our orange light onto, okay, which is great. The other thing here as well, Olivia, is that it's nice that we got those orange lights far enough back behind the model, which is good, because what we don't want is those orange lights to come too far forward so that they start lighting the edge of the nose and stuff. Never a good look. So love the fact that you've got those lights far enough. Sorry, I've got itchy nose. Far enough behind the model that it's not actually falling onto the front. Like, it's just a tiny dot there, but like, it's good. Yeah, they're far enough back so that they're not falling onto the front of the face, because that just looks nasty. If that was the case, what you can do is, if you were struggling with that, like maybe she didn't have all this hair here, maybe like even though it was tight to the head or something like that, you may find that some of that light starts creeping around. One of the easiest ways around that is just to make sure that the pose is always off to one side. Yeah, I mean, she can look to camera, but it's just never like straight onto camera. It's just always be off to one side. What that means is that you'll still have, like, if she's looking like this, we'll have blue here and there'll be orange here and on this side. But when she's looking straight to camera, we don't want that orange on both sides. It just gets real messy. So if you're struggling with that, which is not the case here, but remember that you always have a head to one side. Okay. So the biggest thing for me here is going to be, raising like the height of these orange lights up higher if at all possible. Now I know we're going to be restricted by space, maybe in terms of low ceilings and that sort of thing, but we'd kind of want to see more of that orange up here, right? We want to be seeing the orange up here, and we kind of want to be seeing the orange joining at the top here, right? So got to be careful with that. So try and bring the height of those lights up a little bit higher, and so that we have, I don't know, if they're like here at the moment, okay, we want to maybe bring them so that they're, I don't know if you're using strip boxes or umbrellas, but angle them up so that they're kind of coming down here like this, and hopefully we can get these two lights to join here. Okay. So overall, really good. Placement is really nice. Loving the highlights. We've got oil on the skin here, which is great. Beautiful highlights. Love the fact that the blue is nicely positioned with regards to having this drop off, which I think is really nice. I'm not sure what modifier you're using, maybe Beauty Dish, something like that. But yeah, beautiful highlight, and then it dips off into shadow, which then gives us the room to bring in the orange lights. So yeah, I think overall this is really good. Just see if we can get those lights a little bit higher, and then I would probably say that there is a little bit of work that we could do in post there, just to kind of even out some of the skin a little bit. But otherwise, yeah, really good. Yeah, great stuff. Vlad's sharing some work here. I haven't done much photography this last week. In fact, I've just read that. I didn't actually read what Olivia said. Second attempt at your gelled edge lights technique. I used the blue and orange preset that you shared on the previous live. Oh, okay, cool. That's nice. Nice. Glad it worked out. Shot in a small single car garage. Okay. Kind of 10 days. Okay. So again, if you're working in that in a small space, but you may have a little bit more height up there. Depends if there's rafters in the garage or something like that. You should be able to get those lights a little bit higher. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't read that before. So Vlad, I haven't done much photography this last week, but I did get this awesome shot. Making skies look impressive is always a huge challenge for me for some reason. So, I mean, is that down to you, Vlad, or is it just like the clouds just look average? Is that what you mean? Did Steve just say, is it AI? Is that a compliment or not? Just HDR and a few dozens of LR. Yeah, I know the feeling. Yeah. So what Vlad's saying here is that this is the image, but he's trying to darken the clouds down repeatedly in Lightroom to actually bring them out. Yeah. I mean, a shot like this, I mean, if it's going to be on a tripod, you probably just, I don't know whether you just had the one shot, or whether you're using digital HDR, or whether you're using the actual several images in HDR to create this. But yeah, if it's just on a tripod, you're just going to shoot darker ones, which I'm sure you did. Yeah. So you're at 25th of a second here at f8 ISO 250. Okay, interesting. So you're going for the f8 because you're not sure on the focus there. There are 3 shots. Gotcha. Plus and minus 2. Gotcha. Fair enough. Yeah. Okay. What was the f8 for then, Vlad? What were you going for with the f8? Why wouldn't you want to? Is it just too bright? Because you're at 25th of a second. Did you want the 25th of a second purely because you wanted some sort of like movement in the just a little bit of movement in the tree and the person, or the lenses, manual focus, I mean the shots just wanted to be in focus? Fair enough. Okay, fair enough. Okay. Yeah, makes sense. But yeah, beautiful image. Yeah, I mean, all worked out in the end, and it's good that was only 3 images though, Vlad. Yeah, it's nice. Yeah. Again, feels like a timeless shot, right? Which is cool. Yeah, it's a good shot. Love the colors as always. Good stuff. Oh, and the Lightroom presets that you sent me and we looked at last stream. It's interesting. I was, I know you mentioned it in chat. I didn't realize it at the time, and I saw in chat afterwards that you said, "Oh, check the." Let me just turn this. Check the masks. You said, "Oh, we've got plenty of masks in there. Watch out for the masks. That's what's slowing down the computer." I saw that, like, the grain that you added to the different densities, highlights, shadows, and midtones. Interesting idea, man. Yeah, I thought it was really cool. Yeah. They're used on this shot as well. Nice. Okay. Yeah, good stuff. It's looking great, Chris. Yeah, so quick edit from this afternoon at my shot with Jordan. Nice. So Jordan will be at the event on Thursday, which is great. Yeah, super fortunate to have it there. Jordan at Neon Dreams. Chris, are you still here? What at Neon Dreams? What is Neon Dreams? Having a go at your light blade technique. I thought I'd give it a go from behind Jordan at the image. Sony A1 50mm 4-second exposure red curtain sync. This is awesome, man. Really, really good. Love this. So what Chris is saying here is he's got this Perspex blade, and it's got a flashlight torch in it, and it's lighting up the blade. And then what he's doing during the 4 seconds, studio and hook. Okay, cool, perfect. Is that what the studio's called then? Is it? Nice. So what he's doing is he's pressing the shutter, and then I don't know whether he's doing it remotely or running around or whatever it is, but then he's going behind Jordan there, and then he's moving this blade behind her to create this effect. Really, really cool technique. Love the execution here. You've done really well. Jordan's done well to keep very still as well. Super eye catching, and really, really nice. Like, what blade are you using here? It's quite a small one, right? Is it like? Did you make this blade yourself? Either way, looks really, really good. Yeah, really, really nice. Like it a lot. Yeah, good job. I'm just trying to think about the very too small. No, I bought it. Okay, small. Okay. Yeah, I suppose it's interesting. I haven't worked with a smaller one. I don't dislike it. Yeah, it's just it's different. It's definitely more wispy. Yeah, it's cool though. Yeah, it's cool. Do you mind me asking what you're using as the blue light here on the left hand side? I'm just trying to think what it is that's creating this kind of effect on the skin here. But really good, man. Yeah, excellent. It's a tricky technique to execute, and you've done it really, really well. Slow going though, right? In terms of, every 4 seconds, then you reset, and then it's almost impossible not to check it. You want to check to see how it turned out. Camera's probably on a tripod, and so it's slow going, slow process. It takes a little bit more time, and you think you've been shooting for ages, and you've got 8 shots. Yeah. No, it's my gels. What was the light modifier on the left? We're using like a softbox or beauty dish, or what are you using over here on the left? But yeah, great job, man. Great job. Really good. I'm trying to think. I kind of like the way that he's separated the model here. We've got this beauty dish. Okay, yeah, okay. So what he's doing here is he's separating the model. So she's looking towards the key light being the blue here, and then we've got this pinkish red light on the other side, and we're kind of creating this nice shadow in the middle of her here. So Chris has also done a really good job of not having the key directly in front, because obviously that's just going to ruin the background as well. But so he's got the key off to one side, and then he's made sure that Jordan is angled her body into that key, and then the colored light on the back is coming onto the back of her, so it's not fighting with the blue on the front. So he's done a really good job of color separation on that. Yeah. Hey, no worries, Vlad. Yeah, take it easy, buddy. But yeah, really nice. Yeah, really good job, man. Yeah, really good job. Yeah, hope we do more of these, because that's turned out really well. Yeah, I think you're going to give it more of a go. You're going to get into this again, Chris. Like, try out different blades, because you can. I'm not saying you cut up my gels, but you can get slices of gels and put them in the light blade. That's what I try and do. So you have like colored gels in the actual blade. Yeah, have loads. 4 hour shoot. Oh, okay, cool. Steve's asking what size is the beauty dish. So we've got a shot here from Tony, another Aussie, and happy accident the reflector being used for the fill gave me the shadow. Okay, I thought that was a wall. Okay, that's cool. Okay, so we got blue light from this side, and then that's casting the shadow on this reflector here, and then that's actually kind of interesting that the pink light is kind of bounced in that as well. So we got this kind of pink shadow along with that. Yeah, about 20 images. Oh, nice. So it's a decent size one. Cool. Yeah, that's definitely the size dish to use, man. Yeah, really good. I tend to always use mine with the diffusion sock on it. You know, like the white cover. I'm not sure if that's what you were using on yours. So this is cool, Tony. Yeah, it's really good. I love the talking about in the past. We've kind of spoken about Chiaroscuro, which is basically translates to light and dark, and it's used, in like the Caravaggio images where you're just being lit by a single candlelight. What you end up with is very contrasty light panels and dark panels, and it's kind of interesting to see exactly the same thing going on here, where we have this kind of shadow fading off into like the light, we have this shadow, and then it fades off into the light. So we have this kind of like checkerboard approach to the lighting, which I actually really like, and it's something that you can kind of work on a lot more. Look at some of those old paintings like from the old masters like Caravaggio and that sort of thing, and see how they used single light sources to sort of separate multiple subjects and backgrounds, and all from like that candlelight. It's actually really clever how they do it. And we can do the same thing here. Now Tony is doubling down on that as well by using color. So he's not only contrasting light and dark, but he's contrasting pink and blue, or red and blue. So yeah, I think we've got twofold in terms of interest here. So yeah, really nicely done. Brett, this is not like you, mate. It's coming in here. I thought this is this is very, very, very different for you. Very candid. Shot with film in Europe. Yeah, nice. Okay, cool. So this is, I mean, like giving CC on images like this is very, very difficult, right? Because I'm not sure what you're trying to achieve with this shot. With a lot of like color gel shots or even beauty work, I got a rough idea of what you're trying to achieve, right? You're trying to achieve stronger colors or perfect highlights and definition in shadows and that sort of stuff. I can kind of give CC on that. But when it's a little bit more freestyle like this, it's kind of difficult for me to understand what you're going for. So I mean, there's nothing here that I would change without having a completely different artistic perspective on it. But I think that if you are trying to create a candid image that tells a story, I think you've done a really good job. I think there's a ton going on here that I find interesting, right? And it is a shot that you want to look at. Like we got cables, we got plants, we got this teddy bear cropped out here. I feel like we got a light coming in here. We got 400 fags sat on the stand behind. We've got a model seemingly naked, but with hairy legs, painted nails, looking up into the distance. Like shots like this are like there's tons of work out there that are trying to tell a story, and I think this image does that. Yeah, I think you've also kept the post pro fairly neutral as well. I think it would have been easy to go over the top with it to make it look, vintage. But I think you kept it clean. I think this image is saying a lot. Yeah, like the more you look at it, it's like Vaseline and stuff up there. I mean, there's just 1,000,001 stories in this one shot. So I think in terms of you taking an image, saying something, I think it does that. Yeah, I think it's cool. Yeah. Hey, no worries, Brett. Yeah, all good, man. Great little 10 color torch for light blading. Oh, it's true, I suppose. Yeah, you can get torches with filters already built in them, Dave. That's interesting. Yeah. It's the vibe. Yeah. Beauty dish interior question: silver or white? Client ended up knocking over my light and knackered mine, but beyond recognition had a silver looking at recommendation. Yeah. So if you're going to be shooting regular people, right, and I mean this with the utmost respect, but non-editorial models, you're probably better off sticking with a white one, right? The silver one is going to give you far more contrast. The color from it is going to be far cooler, and you know, if you're shooting, you know, edgy editorial, then the silver one, high key fashion, sure, the silver one is going to be, you know, it's going to be the go. If you're photographing regular girls, or family portraits or corporate headshots, the white one is going to be just a little bit more flattering, and it's going to be a little bit more color neutral for the type of outfits and stuff that they're going to be wearing, right? So it's just going to be a little bit more user friendly. It's going to have more options. I mean, I'm fortunate that I have both, but and I tend to use silver on mine just because I tend to like a colder color. But I think if I was going to be doing a wide variety of shots, then white is the one to go for. Hey, no worries, Brett. Yeah, so many people trying to get the perfect sharp image, but miss the storytelling. I mean, Steve, yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, and it's great that we have so many different people coming at photography from so many different angles in this group. I feel very fortunate that we have everybody coming at it from different angles. We just looked at Tony's work there. He's, off doing like cosplay a lot of the time, or, events and that sort of stuff. We've got, Vlad out there doing his, more rustic, film stuff. Brett often does a lot of, agency work and that sort of stuff. So this is something different for Brett as well. And then obviously we have a lot of color stuff as well. So, I think it's great to see so many different looks. Yeah. Yeah, Jamie, the silver is probably going to be for like latex and that sort of stuff. Is probably going to be It's probably If you're just going to be using it primarily for the latex, then silver is going to be good. Yeah. So Annie's got a shot here. First time working with young cheerleaders. I thought my background would be somewhat phenomenal, but I'm not content with it. This was done in a small studio space. Originally in the comments. Yeah. I'm guilty, Sony. Okay. So was this BTS, or was this the shot that you turned into that? Okay. So Annie, for this then, I think you're going to make your life a little bit easier if this is the size of the background you have. You're going to make your life a little bit easier if you sort of zoom in a little bit. So that's going to compress the background. So I know you're in this small space, but one thing that we can do is kind of compress the background a little bit. So as soon as we go wider like this, it's going to make that background appear smaller in shot. So if you try and come a little bit squarer on and zoom in just a touch, right? I don't know what you're at here. I mean, you could be at 28. Even if we come into like 50 mil, this background will appear to get bigger. So it'll make your life a little bit easier. And then lastly, then in terms of the background, just watch this light being down here. If you can get that on a stand, you can get travel stands, because you mentioned before about, Jake, I can't put my light stands into the wall like you've got. So normal light stands are going to be out like that, right? Travel stands, you can have a very narrow footprint at the bottom, and ideally we kind of do want that light coming down from above rather than lighting her from underneath, which is what it's doing at the moment. But yeah, and then lastly, we want to be shooting wide open, right? Now the reason this works here is because we've got tons of light hitting that tinfoil. Right, so it's not like we've got the model and then we're using like a regular reflector, right? We're using two big strip boxes here, which is producing tons of light hitting that tinfoil all over, which is creating lots of little points of light. So if you were just to try and light her with just one little spotlight, you wouldn't get this effect on the background. So try and get a larger modifier to light the subject if possible, and that's just going to give you tons of this bokeh effect behind. Okay. Try that to begin with. I know you've got color and stuff back there as well at the moment, but yeah, try this to begin with and see if you can light the model and the tinfoil with the same light to give you this kind of effect. Yeah. Oh, you're still here, Annie. Nice. Okay. I would definitely say that was generative fill, Steve. Yeah, on the background. That's why I was confused at first. I was like, "What? Is that a different image?" Yeah. But yes, so larger modifier is going to create more of these bokeh effects, and then ideally you kind of want to be f2.8. I think you said you've got 24 to 70. I think that's f2.8. So you should be able to do that, and that should be able to create that. The other thing to bear in mind is how close she is to that tinfoil, right? So having a little bit further off it means that when you're focusing on the child, the tinfoil is going to be out of focus. Yeah. It looks like she's a distance off it. Yeah. Oh, I see the Neo up here is creating the colors. Gotcha. Okay. So hopefully that makes sense, Annie. But yeah, just bringing that a little bit further off will bringing you stepping back, zooming in. I know you can't step back too far. Zooming in, having a larger modifier, lighting everything. f2.8. You should get everything. To pop. But love the idea, and I do love the fact that you're trying to add the color in. And don't be wrong. I think you saved it by adding all of that. That's fine. But really, we want it to be out of focus so we don't see these folds and stuff, because you're using that emergency blanket thing as well. Space blanket thing. But yeah, so I think it's a great idea. I think we could just refine it just a tiny bit, and we'd be all the way there. Yeah, good job there. The comments being deleted, Dave. Yeah. So Dave's got an image here straight out of camera. Left and right are Rotolite Neo 3, so the small ones, 1 Pro version. And key light is EOS 2 around 60%. Okay, EOS 2 around 60%. Okay, shot in a blackout section of a new studio in the area. Colors from the photography Rotolite. Nice. Camera settings below. Nice. So we've got f1.4, 200th of a second. Okay, ISO 100. So shutter speeds for you then, Dave, with people. Is that right, Dave? What on earth is going on with that? Yeah, the sooner we try and get over to YouTube, the better, I think, right? Yeah, so you got people moving on the poll, Dave. What is the ideal shutter speed for you? Are you trying to go, upwards of 200, 250, 500? Are you trying to get up super high like that? But this is looking good though, man. If this is straight out of camera, you've got tons of detail here to work with. Maybe you've got a little bit of smoke in there as well. But yeah, this is looking good. It's looking good. You got I think this is difficult to light as well, because you've got 2 models, which is already difficult. Secondly, their faces are doing something bizarre in terms of one's facing one way, one's facing the other. I think you've done a good job to keep this well lit all around. Yeah. I think you just straighten it up a little bit in post. Personally, I would crop in a little bit, unless there is a reason for it being extra like that, but up to you. Yeah, maybe it's just because I'm looking at it on a black background, but just fading off like that is not. I'm not always a fan of, but I think you've done a good job. This is a pose shot, so can shoot wide and far to showcase it. High ISO around 160. Okay. Pose shot can shoot. Oh, I see. So they're not moving, so you're not too worried about it. Yeah, I'm not working with a different software than you. Oh, so are you using Photoshop, Annie, or are you using a different one? I can't wait to end this stream and scratch my nose. It's killing me. I don't know what it is. Oh, the comments. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. Yeah. Continuing with experimenting with all of Jake's setups I found online like a dirty thief. I'm learning exactly, man. That's what it's all about. Yeah, learning new ideas. One thing I found out from my latex supplier, which I didn't know, was don't get baby oil on it. Yeah, absolutely not. Yeah, it eats into latex, messes it up. Yeah, it ruins it. Yeah, it literally eats into it, and it's quite literally unfixable. Yeah, so I forget, it's like silicone-based oils and stuff. You shine it up with those, but yeah, baby oil will ruin it. So that's why sometimes you can be with latex, like having a lot of oil on the models. You've got to be careful with it. Yeah, some models will freak out, others less so, but yeah, just something to be aware of. Whatever you're doing though, Jamie, like these are super clean, crisp highlights. Whatever you're doing to this, like, is this just a ton of post pro, or do you get this in camera like this? It's super clean. Love the black pro mist or whatever it is that you're using. Really cool angle that you've got here as well. You know, something a little bit different in terms of you coming up a little bit higher and then, you know, shooting down like this. Nice strong catch lights in the eyes. Really nice definition under the jaw, but still, you know, we still have data in the shadows and stuff here. This is good stuff, man. Yeah, really good stuff. Yeah, really good stuff. Like the only thing here is like this orange is beautiful on this side. This blue is probably a stop or so overexposed. So just be mindful of that we're kind of bleaching out here on some of the highlights, but otherwise, yeah, this is bang on. Yeah, really good. I think there's a lot going on here, but it's not too busy, you know. It's good stuff. Yeah. And again, I like the fact that even though this is pure black latex, we just have a little bit of definition in the background, so it's not pure black. You know, I think we spoke about that last stream where we just kind of bringing it off of pure black. So good job. Yeah, nice. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. So David says, this was shot in my home studio kitchen area. There we go. Nice. Yeah, using the home. The walls are red sheets. Shelves from my hobby room acquired at hardware store. Nice. Liquor bottles donated by friends and filled with various teas and flavoured water. Bar covered by a black sheet with glass tabletops on top. Light Westcott FJ400 with Octobox and blue light. Godox light wand. Wow. Okay, David. Excellent. So what David's saying here is he's basically doubling down on what we're talking about, right? Talking about using at homes, you know, small studios. How can we kind of use that to our advantage? What, you know, he's just given us a full breakdown here of how he's turned his home studio kitchen area into this kind of bar looking area by adding in, you know, like these red sheets. So he's got these silver shelves, which I think, you know, I think probably, like, we've seen those shelves before in I don't know, like B&Q or Walmart or something like that. But when they're out of focus like that, they look really cool. You know, bottles filled with teas and stuff, nice. And then a black sheet with the glass tabletops on top again. So just, you know, these sheets here are just going to help to create these reflections, right? Just giving us reflections everywhere. So just pulling us out of this pure blackness. I think, yeah, it's good. It's good. And, you know, like the red isn't too much. We haven't tried to overpower anything like that. This is cool. So Westcott 400 octa blue light Godox light wand. So I'm guessing that light wand is what's somewhere over here. And then we've got the Octobox fired onto the background. We can maybe see just a touch on the back here, but it's clearly catching the chrome of the shelving and bottles and stuff there. Okay. So I think there's I think there's a lot to like here. I think, you know, we've done great with building the set, especially, you know, taking advantage of the space that you're in and trying to think of new ways to use your space. I think that's really cool. I think one thing, you know, maybe rather than just firing the softbox straight into that corner, you know, because they were starting to create shadows and that sort of stuff, maybe had we, because at the moment maybe we got like the octa coming in here, right? Maybe what we do instead is, I don't know, I kind of almost maybe just, you know, firing it up into the room and have some softer light coming down here. The reason I say that is because it would be nice to see just a tiny bit more definition on our model here, right? Be nice to see a tiny bit more red coming through from this background. You know, maybe just a little bit more definition here. Plus, we would have less of these sort of like stronger shadows and that sort of thing. I'm not saying I don't like the highlights. You know, maybe you could put a little spot in there as well, just to create catch lights on the beams. You just have a you just have a spot here coming from behind her, and that would you know, you get these highlights and stuff from that. But having this fill light, I think would open up this space just a little bit more. But otherwise, I think it's really cool. Yeah, really nice. Yeah, really great idea. Really well executed. Yeah. And listening to you going on the back, I know, Jamie. I know. Yeah, it's good, man. It's good stuff. Yeah, I think it paid. I think you got just the right amount in there. It's not so much that it looks fake. I think, you know, but it's just enough so that we can see the separation from her against that background. Yeah, good stuff. So Kathleen, last but not least, this shot straight out of camera for my 1920s silent film. Expressionism inspired concepts aligns well with the different backdrops in small space discussion. Nice. Because this was a 7-foot backdrop I altered in 4 different ways to create different effects and vibes. Really? Okay. Nice. Yeah. And that's great, Kathleen. That's what we, you know, always want to be thinking about, how we can, you know, keep reusing different areas and different props and that sort of thing in us, especially in small spaces, right? So this is for silent film expressionism. So this is just a still from the film, or you just took, so you're shooting a film, but you just grabbed a stills camera as well of the setup. Okay, so I like the fact that we've got these 2 different colors coming in here with the blues and the yellows. I'm not sure how traditional you were like trying to keep it in terms of the 1920s. I know it's, you know, going to be black and white, but I think as soon as we've got these colors here, it would be nice to maybe take these into Photoshop and just have a little bit of a play with the colors that you've got here. 'Cause I think you could get something pretty cool out of this, because we've got these colors here. I think we could crank them to get something really nice from that. I do think there's something here. We just, maybe if there's any data in these blacks here as well, we could bring that out a touch. Yeah, I don't often say this, but maybe this could work in a square, you know. Yeah. But yeah, I think there's something we could do in post with the colors here, because interesting that you're using the blue and the orange, almost like the white balance, right? So we've got these two colors from white balance, the orange and the blue. I think there's definitely something we could do in post with that. But yeah, and again, you know, topical that you're sharing this, as you're saying, using aligns well with the different backdrops in a small space discussion, because this was a 7-foot backdrop that I altered in 4 different ways to create different effects and vibes. Exactly what we're talking about. You know, how can we keep or reusing our areas and our, you know, ideas and setups and backdrops? You know, nicely done. Tons of great work in here this week, guys. Really good. You know, like, got some long exposure. We got, you know, landscapes. We got indoors. We got candid. You know, we got portrait sessions. We got pole shoots. You know, so many great shots. You know, thank you so much for sharing these. It's always an absolute pleasure to go through all of these. Yeah, absolutely amazing. So, any questions on anything that we've spoken about, then by all means, let me know. Jump in and give us a shout. I'm going to start closing this out. I'm just going to start. I wonder if my links will get banned. Start sharing some of my links here for online workshops and that sort of thing. So, as I've spoken about before, you know, I've recently in this live stream as well showed you some examples of big studio lighting in small spaces, as well as creatively simple lighting, some other things to do with that as well. So all these workshops, I know I'm doing a bunch with Olivia, who's in chat earlier on. We're doing some with her in the next couple of weeks, so looking forward to that. So by all means, check those out. And I got the mentoring as well. So if you're looking for something a little bit more targeted, a little bit more focused to what you're trying to achieve, then there's the mentoring options as well. So check those out. I know there's several people in chat who have done that with me. So yeah, always good. Let's have a look. So Steve says, hey, before we go, I messaged you on Facebook with links to the projector. Oh, nice. Yeah, to the review and a decent prime deal on a loop deck. Oh, nice one. Thanks. Yeah. I'm staying off Instagram for a little bit. Detox. Don't blame me, mate. Yeah, thank you for those, Steve. I appreciate that. That's great, man. Yeah. Do you have the link to the thing on Thursday? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yeah. So it will be in Hoxton, London. I know, Jamie. Yeah, this whole live stream was really about buttering you up to get you to put your hands in your pocket. I mean, like to get you to come along, check out those sessions. So yeah, there it is, Steve. Yeah, there's the link to it. So yeah, a couple of hours on the Thursday. Come down there, photograph some incredible models, check out the new lights. I'll be going through some pretty cool lighting setups as well. So I mean, free drinks and food. I don't really know what's not to like, you know. So yeah, if anybody's coming down, I shall see you there on Thursday. Yeah, it's only a couple of days away. So yeah, I look forward to it. Right. So as I navigate the mess of windows that I've made here, I am gonna love you and leave you. I did it. Hey Alan, glad you were here for it, buddy. Yeah, good to see you again. Glad to see you still fighting the good fight out there, mate. Take it easy. Just need a plane to crash at home. Oh, nice, Steve. Yeah, nice. All right, guys. Thanks so much for everybody who tuned in. Thanks as well, especially to everybody that shared an image. You know, certainly wouldn't be doing these without you guys sharing those shots for us to go through. So it's an absolute pleasure to go through those. Fantastic work as always. Stay safe, and if I don't see you on Thursday, I shall see you in 2 weeks' time. Okay? Take care, guys. Bye.